Before dawn, when the world is quiet and no one is watching, you discover the truth. Motivation is a guest that arrives late and leaves early. Discipline is what remains when emotion is absent. The samurai understood this, and they built their lives around it. A disciplined mind does not wait to feel ready. It moves, because movement is its nature. Long before modern language tried to explain struggle, Miyamoto Musashi walked Japan carrying 2 swords and no illusions. He did not wake each day seeking inspiration or comfort. He trained because training was who he was. His strength did not come from passion, but from decision repeated until it became identity. Chapter 1. The Uncomfortable Silence. The modern man in this story is named Kenji. He is not weak, nor is he lazy, but his days are ruled by promises made to himself and quietly ignored. Each morning begins with intention and ends with compromise, and between those moments is noise. Screens, obligations, opinions, and endless explanations distract him from the simple act of doing what must be done. Kenji believes he lacks motivation, and so he waits for it. He scrolls, thinks, plans, and delays, telling himself that tomorrow he will start with more energy. This waiting becomes habitual, and habit quietly becomes character. What he does not realize is that his discomfort is not a flaw, but an invitation. In Zen tradition, silence is not empty, it is revealing. When Kenji finally sits alone without distraction, he feels resistance rise like a storm. This resistance is not an enemy, it is the place where discipline is forged. Chapter 2. The Way of No Mind. Musashi wrote of a state beyond hesitation, a place where action is direct and undecorated. The samurai did not debate with himself before drawing the blade. He trained until doubt had no place to speak. This was not recklessness, but mastery. Kenji begins small, not with ambition, but with removal. He eliminates the need for choice by deciding his actions in advance. Each morning, before thought intervenes, he performs a single act that requires no inspiration. Over time, this act stops feeling heroic and becomes ordinary. This is Zen in movement. The mind becomes quiet, not through force, but through repetition. When action precedes emotion, emotion eventually follows, but it is no longer required. Kenji is no longer waiting for motivation, and so he is no longer delayed by its absence. Chapter 3. Bushido and the Weight of Identity. Bushido was not a list of virtues displayed for approval. It was a code lived in private, especially when no one could see. Honor was not how others perceived the samurai, but how he conducted himself in solitude. Discipline was the root that held all other virtues in place. Kenji begins to understand that discipline is not punishment. It is loyalty to a chosen self. Each time he acts according to this identity, the old version of him weakens. He no longer negotiates with himself because negotiation implies uncertainty. Musashi spoke of walking the path alone, without attachment to comfort or praise. In this solitude, Kenji finds something unexpected. The less he explains himself, the stronger he feels. Silence becomes reinforcement, not deprivation. Chapter 4. Small Rituals, Unbreakable Structure. The samurai did not rely on grand gestures. He relied on forms practiced thousands of times until they became instinct. Victory was not decided in the moment of combat, but in the quiet hours of repetition. The structure of discipline removed the burden of decision. Kenji chooses non-negotiable rituals. They are small, almost unimpressive, but they are performed regardless of mood. On days of energy and days of fatigue, the action remains the same. This consistency begins to alter his perception of himself. He no longer asks whether he feels like acting. The question has been eliminated. What remains is clarity, and clarity brings calm. In this calm, effort becomes lighter, even when the work remains heavy. Chapter 5. The Death of Motivation. Motivation promises comfort before effort. Discipline accepts effort without promise. Musashi warned against attachment to outcomes, because attachment softens resolve. The warrior seeks alignment, not reward. Kenji notices that the more he acts without emotional negotiation, the less he needs encouragement. Failure no longer feels personal, and success no longer intoxicates him. Both are simply feedback. The stability this brings is quiet, but absolute. A disciplined mind does not celebrate loudly or despair deeply. It remains present. In this presence, Kenji finds freedom he did not expect. He is no longer ruled by the fluctuations of inner weather. Chapter 6. Surrender to the Way. In Zen, surrender is not weakness, It is the release of resistance to what must be done. When the samurai entered battle, he accepted the moment fully, without rehearsal or fear. His preparation had already occurred. Kenji surrenders to his chosen path. He stops asking whether it will pay off or be noticed. The work is no longer a means to an end, but the expression of who he has decided to be. This surrender removes tension without removing effort. What once required force now requires presence. His days are quieter, but denser with meaning. Each action reinforces the next, forming a chain that does not break easily. Chapter 7. The Quiet Strength. Musashi lived without attachment to comfort or recognition. He traveled lightly, fought decisively, and wrote with clarity earned through hardship. His discipline was not visible to most, but its results were undeniable. Kenji notices that others begin to feel the difference without understanding it. He speaks less, reacts slower, and moves with intention. There is no need to explain his discipline, because discipline is self-evident through behavior. This strength does not announce itself. It does not rush or impress. It remains steady, especially when conditions deteriorate. This is the strength of the disciplined mind. The samurai did not seek motivation because motivation is unstable. He built his life on principles that did not depend on feeling. Discipline was not something he practiced, it was something he embodied. When discipline becomes identity, the need for motivation disappears. In the end, the disciplined mind requires no noise, no validation, and no urgency. It moves quietly, deliberately, and without hesitation. This is the way that endures, long after inspiration fades.